Welcome to BA Lens Interview Mastery Series. Every business analyst interview has that one question.
The one that instantly reveals whether you simply learned business analysis or whether you've actually practiced it. Today's question is one of them. Can you give an example of how you turned user or business needs into testable requirements or user stories? How did you ensure they were ready for development? At first glance, it sounds like they're asking about user stories. They're not. They're trying to understand whether you've taken a business problem from discovery all the way through to development. Let's walk through how I'd answer this in an interview, and more importantly, why each part matters. I'd start by saying, one project that comes to mind was for an online retailer that was experiencing a high number of customers abandoning their baskets before completing checkout. The business initially believed they needed to redesign the checkout page to improve conversion. Now pause there. Notice I haven't mentioned user stories yet. Why? Because experienced business analysts don't start with requirements. They start with the business problem. The interviewer wants to know whether you understand the context before you jump into solutions. I continue by saying, rather than accepting the proposed solution, I wanted to understand what was actually causing customers to leave. I analyzed customer journey data, reviewed website analytics, spoke with customer service teams about common complaints, and facilitated workshops with stakeholders to understand both the business objectives and the user pain points. Again, this is another scoring opportunity. You're demonstrating analytical thinking, you're showing stakeholder engagement, you're showing requirements elicitation. Most importantly, you're showing that you investigate before you document. I then say, from that analysis, we discovered the problem wasn't the checkout design at all. Customers were abandoning their baskets because they were being forced to create an account. That changed the conversation from building the solution the business requested to solving the problem users were actually experiencing. This is one of the strongest parts of the answer. Why? Because business analysts don't just gather requirements. They challenge assumptions. Interviewers love hearing that you've used evidence to uncover the real need, rather than simply documenting what someone asked for. Now we can talk about user stories. Once the user need had been agreed, I translated it into requirements and user stories. For example, as a first-time customer, I want to check out as a guest so that I can complete my purchase without creating an account. I also work with the product owner and stakeholders to prioritize the story within the backlog. Notice something. I didn't just say I wrote a user story. I explained why I wrote it and how it connected back to the business need. That's exactly what interviewers want to hear. Now let's answer the second half of the question. To ensure the story was ready for development, I worked with developers and QA engineers to define detailed acceptance criteria. We agreed what success looked like, identified business rules, discussed edge cases such as failed payments and duplicate email addresses, captured dependencies, and clarified assumptions. I then facilitated backlog refinement sessions where the team reviewed the story, challenged anything that wasn't clear, and confirmed they had enough info to estimate and begin development confidently. This is the part many candidates miss. The interviewer isn't asking, can you write a user story? They're asking, how do you know it's ready? Ready for development means the delivery team understands exactly what needs to be built. Developers aren't making assumptions. Testers can write test cases. The product owner agrees it delivers value, and the team is confident enough to commit to it during sprint planning. Finally, I'll close with the outcome. The feature was delivered with minimal clarification because the requirements had already been validated and refined. Following release, the business saw a reduction in basket abandonment and an increase in purchases, demonstrating we'd solved the underlying problem. Always finish with impact. Don't leave the interviewer wondering whether your approach worked. Tell them. So when you hear this interview question, don't think it's about user stories. It's really assessing whether you can understand the business problem, discover the real user need, challenge assumptions, translate those needs into clear testable requirements, collaborate with developers and testers, and make sure the work is genuinely ready before development begins. That's what separates someone who studied business analysis from someone who's actually practiced it. And that's exactly where building Cedini Auto Apply matters, to give you the opportunity to experience every stage of that journey. So when you're asked this question in an interview, you're speaking from real experience, not from theory. If you would like to join the build, visit cedini.co.uk/auto-apply. If you have any question you would like to be covered in our next episode, leave it in the comments and I'll see you in the next episode of BA Lens.